Chai, my people, Igbophobia in Nigeria is so real. Like the hatred towards Ndi Igbo in Nigeria, it is getting out of hand. Like they cannot hide it anymore, my people. And this is one of the reasons Igbos are saying that they have been marginalized in Nigeria, and they are saying they don't want to belong to this country called Nigeria anymore. I hope you guys saw what happened at the Senate yesterday. So the Southeast senators staged walkout after the Senate rejected the bill to immortalize Prof Nwosu, the former NEC chairman who conducted the free and fairest election in Nigeria. My people, I hope you guys saw the plenary session, how these people were showing their bias. I was so shocked how they were talking down on Professor Humphrey Nwosu, a man that risked his life, a man that stood and conducted the most free and fairest election in Nigeria. So, according to Oshiomhole, Professor Humphrey Nwosu was not that bold to declare or to announce the winner of that particular election. It means that Abiola was not the winner of that particular election. If not, where did they get the election result that showed that it was Abiola that won that particular election? It's from Professor Humphrey Nwosu, but these people don't want to acknowledge it. I have seen many videos where Professor Humphrey Nwosu granted an interview and he stated it categorically that Abiola won that particular election. He even went to court in order to provide all the information that showed that Abiola won that particular election. Like, my people, what did these people expect Humphrey Nwosu to do? Knowing fully well how military regime used to operate. This is so shameful. Like, these people could not even hide their bias. What a country. And tomorrow you guys will say we are one Nigeria. Indeed, one Nigeria. Take a look and see what Senator Baribe said in this particular video, as well as where Oshiomhole said what he said. And I love what one of the Igbo senators, what he replied to Oshiomhole. Just take a listen.
We said that even if it's not done today, that another government will do this. We are still looking forward to the Tinubu government. If you recall, Tinubu was seen and has always been seen as a June 12 warrior. And therefore, all the elements that make up June 12, including the conduct of the election. And like we said, if there was no election, there would have been no June 12. So we can also use this opportunity that we're here addressing you to appeal to the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to honor the man who made sure that that election held, despite that it was done, and put elections in the consciousness of Nigerians. Because that election was what led everybody else to now be doing subsequent elections. Thank you. He was a member, and he also participated fully in that election. So let him make it.
To recall that without Professor Humphrey Nwosu's sagacity and courage, that election would not have taken place. We are all aware that Justice Ikpeme said that there shall be no election. By 9:30 in the morning on June 10th, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, audaciously without invitation, went to the National Defense and Security Council and insisted and convinced them that the election process had commenced. That was why President Babangida allowed him to conduct the election. And if anybody is saying that he did not announce the result, the person is lying, because the results were being announced. They have announced 29. It was remained only Taraba State. And even when they ordered him to come to the Aso Rock, I want to tell you, he was even arrested. But he still ordered that Taraba be announced. So at what point will Hope Nwosu have announced that result? Is it in our Aso Rock where they detained him? We must be serious. But the truth of the matter is that the Senate resolution is advisory. It's not even compelling. So we are urging President Tinubu to do the right thing by immortalizing Professor Humphrey Nwosu. Thank you.
my house to come to these chambers, I ask God to guide my thoughts, to give me the will to speak the truth, and to service my conscience. I have listened and I've read through this 2-page motion moved by a man I respect and I will always respect. But when it comes to facts, the written word, it will go into history. I want to be on record as saying the following. Paragraph 3 of this document, this motion, which says, quote, conscious of his courageous defense of the democratic electoral process during the 1993 presidential election that led to the famous June 12 slogan, which ultimately confirmed MKO Abiola as the winner of the election. This is manipulating and wrestling with the truth. June 12 became famous because Nigerians who voted and the elections results already announced, people were at liberty to do their calculation. But because the chief electoral officer failed to formally announce the figures and declare the winner, the Nigerian people on their own talk about, if you look at the media review, the man who is widely believed to have won the election, because the man who should have announced it failed to do so. The second paragraph, or the fourth paragraph, informed that he stood his ground during Nigeria electoral wishes and aspirations were realized, which culminated in June 12 being marked as a 30th Democratic Day due to his unwavering stand as an umpire. Sir, again, this is not correct. President Muhammadu Buhari, to his credit, decided, and may God bless him for that, said what Nigerians already knew. But coming from a city head of state and president, that gave it the currency. He said everybody knew that MKO Abiola won June, election that was conducted on June 12th. Nigerians were really in pain because nobody is able to quote where Professor Nwosu announced the results. It is his failure to announce the result, whether other threat or other whatever forces that prevented him from so doing, that Nigerians were unable to say that he was declared the winner. In fact, I was active in that struggle. When we met with the late General Sani Abacha, he said the reason he decided to order the detention of MKO Abiola was that MKO Abiola proclaimed himself as the winner of the election and therefore as president. It was on that basis Abiola was arrested and he died in detention. If Professor Nwosu had the courage, I emphasize courage as is being suggested here, to announce the winner and damn the consequences. After all, he who is not ready to die for something will end up dying for nothing. We cannot distort history in this Senate. We must be seen to have sentiments that reflect the average feeling of the average Nigerian. Professor Nwosu, when it mattered most, his courage failed him. And when you give national honors and recognition, you do so for people who have shown courage, who have paid the supreme price, or who were ready to pay that price. Lastly, cognizance of the fact that Professor Nwosu laid a landmark foundation, blah, 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 blah. This is the reason it is even more painful that you allegedly have all this courage to conduct elections. I'm on record as saying that Professor Nwosu and President Babangida fooled 18 million Nigerians that voted.
Sorry, we can't take it anymore. Please, I'm sorry.
Thank you, my president, our dear distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Tony Nwe, representing Anambra North. Mr. President, the issue at stake is an appeal I'm making that we should not allow our personal biases, our personal sentiments, and our party affiliations to influence what we are doing here. So far I'm concerned, during the June 12 presidential election, I was a presiding officer. And yes, I just came out from secondary school. I was the presiding officer in that election. That election has been adjudged up to today the freest and fairest election in the history of Nigeria. Mr. President, any Nigerian that googles internet, which election is the freest and fairest election in Nigeria, is the June 12 presidential election. Prof Humphrey Nwosu, a professor of political science from the prestigious University of Nigeria, a civil servant, before he was appointed in 1989, did his best, despite the pressure from Babangida government, despite the court order, Mr. President, allow me, despite the court order by Justice Beme that stopped the election, despite all the threats from the military cabal, the man still went ahead to conduct the freest and fairest election. Was it Professor Humphrey Nwosu that made Justice Saleh from Katangum Emirate from Bauchi to annul the election? Was it Justice Professor Humphrey Nwosu that made the military cabal to throw Nigeria into confusion? It is highly unfair. One of my colleagues mentioned about the honor. How was it remaining my brother? Is it because he belongs to a particular political party? Let us not distort facts. It's very disappointing that some of us should be distorting facts just because Professor Humphrey Nwosu is an Igbo man.
Thank you very much.
Allow this motion to stand.
Thank you, sir.
I rest my case.
Thank you. Please, order, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Ezanwa Onyewuchi, and I represent Imo East Senatorial District of Imo State. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am indeed very worried that the achievements of Professor Humphrey Nwosu is being subjected to such fierce debate. There's no doubt, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, that Professor Humphrey Nwosu is an architect of the freedom we enjoy today as a nation. Humphrey Nwosu
He has the floor. Allow him to say his mind.
No doubt is
You are
the
protected.
hero of the June 12th election. And there's no doubt that he introduced something that was very novel to us, the option A4, and conducted an election, adjourned the freest election that we
You have 1 second remaining. 1 second.
had. Mr. President, I want to warn or advise that this Senate should not resort to scapegoatism, to say, this is the person that caused this is the person that did not do this. Let us look at things objectively.
If he is coward to withdraw in doing what is right at the critical moment, I think my brothers here should be fair enough. We are not saying you should not bring his matter out. And as my colleague have said, everybody that we have put before us that should be honored, we have celebrated them here. And don't forget, this is the highest law-making body of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where we should see ourselves as one and one Nigeria. Professor Humphrey Nwosu, with due respect to him, because it's now late, does not deserve to be immortalized as one of the very few Nigerians that have done the right thing. And I want to plead with my colleague. As I've said, I'm not speaking along the ethnicity line, along the party line, but I'm speaking as Nigeria. We witness the horrific moment.
Thank you. 1 second remaining.
Of Professor Humphrey Nwosu to carry out his assignment at the most critical hour.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now let's go to prayers. Prayer 1. All the federal government to immortalize him by naming the INEC headquarters in Abuja after him. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The nays have it. Further urges the federal government to posthumously honor him with national honors. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it. Extend condolences to his family and recognize their sacrifice in support of his work towards a better Nigeria. Those in favor of this prayer, say aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. So, hello, sorry, order, order, please can somebody, order.
It is so sad and disheartening to see the level of bias that is going on in the Senate, my people. I hope you guys saw everything that took place there. And also, this is a lesson to our so-called Igbo senators, as well as governors, our politicians, our leaders, representatives, to see the reason why all these young Igbos are saying that they want Biafra, that they don't want to belong to this country called Nigeria, because they are indeed marginalized. Just because Professor Humphrey Nwosu is an Igbo man, this is the reason why you are seeing all this abracadabra in the Senate. Anyway, my people, as I bring this update to you guys, do well to leave your thoughts in the comment section, subscribe and give it a like. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and I will see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.